How do you combine the content of two or more cells in Excel? The most common methods are the use of ampersand, concat or concatenate functions. Less common are the use of the TEXTJOIN function and Power Query, which allows you to combine text in a more flexible way. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'll use this outline to show you how the TEXTJOIN function works, and in a separate video I'll show you how Power Query works. Okay, so click the bell so you get a notification when the video is uploaded. Now let's see how TEXTJOIN works. The goal here is to combine the name and age of each candidate. Type TEXTJOIN. The delimiter will be used to separate the combined text, so it can be a comma, an hyphen, or any delimiter of your choice, and it has to be enclosed in double quotes if you are typing it directly into the formula. But if you are using a cell reference, you don't need to do that. I'll discuss that shortly. So I'll use a comma as the delimiter. Ignore empty is used to specify whether to ignore empty cells or not. True is the default and it ignores any empty cells in the result, while false includes empty cells in the result. I'll select true. Text 1 can be a range or a cell. I'll select the candidate for text 1 and age for text 2. TEXTJOIN can take up to 252 text arguments. Close the bracket and enter. Cool. Now there are some things you need to note about the delimiter. If you want a space after the delimiter, you can add a space after the specified delimiter. I'll add a space after comma. If a delimiter is not specified, the texts are joined without any delimiter. The same thing applies when the delimiter is an empty string. If you want a line break between the text, you can use the character function. Just type character, open the bracket and type 10 and close, enter. Then you go to the home tab and click on wrap text. There you go. If the delimiter is a cell reference, you don't have to use the double quote. Just click on the cell reference and enter. Now let's move on to the next example. In this example, I'll show you two ways to use multiple delimiters. The first method is to supply the delimiters as an array constant. All you have to do is enter the delimiters inside braces. So TEXTJOIN. For delimiter, type an opening brace. Specify the delimiters you want in double quote, separated by commas. The first delimiter is hyphen. I'll add a space to that. The second delimiter is a comma. I'll add a space again. Then add the closing brace. Next argument. True to ignore blank cells and select the text range. Close the bracket. Now the texts are separated in the order of the specified delimiters. And if I delete the content of this cell, TEXTJOIN will skip this cell because the ignore empty argument is set to true. If I change it to false, this is how it will appear. I'll undo that. The second method is to use cell references for the delimiters. So each delimiter will be in separate cells. Doesn't matter if they are vertical or horizontal. So this range will be used for the delimiter argument. So TEXTJOIN. Delimiter is this range. True to ignore blank cells and select the text range. Close the bracket. Now the texts are separated in the order of the specified delimiters. Let's move on to the next example. TEXTJOIN can also be used to combine texts based on a condition by nesting the if and filter functions inside the TEXTJOIN function. I'll start with the if function. I use the unique function to extract the unique cities. So basically I want to check if any of the cities in A5 to A13 is equal to the selected city. If true, return the names of the candidate. Otherwise, return an empty string. This is an array formula, so it will return multiple results. If you are using Excel 2019 and earlier versions, you have to press Ctrl Shift and Enter for this to work. Check it out. We have Carl and Stacy. Now, instead of spelling the text, TEXTJOIN will combine the text in a cell and the formula will be copied down. So I'll wrap this formula with TEXTJOIN. Delimiter is comma, true to ignore empty, and the if formula will be the text1 argument. Close the bracket and enter. Double click to copy down. Easy peasy. Now let's check the filter function. If the filter function is new to you, check my video on filter function. The link is below. So filter, array is the range to be filtered, which is this column. Include is where you specify the condition. So we say filter records that are equal to this. If empty, return an empty string. Excel has evaluated each row and returned the result where it matches the city. Now TEXTJOIN will combine the text in a cell. So TEXTJOIN, delimiter is comma, true, and the filter formula will be the text1 argument. Close the bracket and enter. That's it. Now let's see what happens when I delete the content of a cell. I'll delete the content of this cell and we'll see what happens to the filter function and if function. Check it out. Filter function ignored the empty cell, but if returned 0 for the empty cell. This is the edge filter function has over the if function when combined with TEXTJOIN. So if the filter function is not available to you, I'll show you how to modify the formula to ignore empty cells. Let's see how the if function evaluates the formula. First, it checks if any city in this list is equal to Burnaby and returns a value where true. So what happens is that it finds an empty cell here and returns 0 because the formula evaluates to true. So we have to add another condition to check the cells that are not equal to 0. And then multiply both conditions. In Excel, true is equal to 1 and false is equal to 0. So now the if function will return this correct value for Burnaby. Let's write the formula. TEXTJOIN, delimiter, true to ignore empty cells. For text1, we'll write the if formula. If, open a bracket, city is equal to Burnaby, close the bracket, multiplied by candidate is not equal to 0, close the bracket. If true, return the candidate, otherwise return an empty string. Close the bracket and enter. Cool. To wrap up, combining the filter function with TEXTJOIN is much more flexible than the if function, particularly when you are joining a long string of text. I'll illustrate that in the next video. Thanks for watching today. Please subscribe, share the video with your colleagues, and I'll see you next time. Bye.